The door swung open without a knock, and there she was, Freya, my coach, her silhouette cutting through the late afternoon sun like a blade. I froze, towel slipping from my fingers, my skin prickling under the sudden exposure, heart slamming against my ribs as if it could shatter them. "Jocelyn," she breathed, voice cracking like thunder in the silence, her eyes locking onto mine not with shock, but with something deeper, hungrier, that made the air between us ignite. That moment wasn't just an accident, it was the spark that unraveled everything. Barcelona's humid breeze whispered through the cracked window, carrying the distant hum of street musicians and the salty tang of the Mediterranean, but in my tiny dorm room at the Universitat de Barcelona, the world narrowed to us, two women on the precipice of a secret neither of us had dared name. I was Jocelyn Harper, 22, a junior from Seattle on a volleyball scholarship, chasing dreams of gold medals and a life bigger than rainy Pacific Northwest winters. Freya Navarro, 28, the team's unyielding coach, a Barcelona native with a pedigree from the Spanish national team and a reputation for turning raw talent into champions. She was fire and steel, the kind of woman who commanded the court with a whistle and a glare, but off it, in stolen glances during practice, I'd caught flickers of something softer, something that mirrored the ache I'd buried since high school. I yanked the towel up, cheeks burning hotter than the Spanish sun, stammering, "Coach, Freya, what the hell?" My voice came out sharper than I meant, laced with betrayal and a thrill I couldn't suppress. She didn't move, didn't apologize right away. Instead, she stepped inside, closing the door with a soft click that echoed like a verdict. "I knocked," she said finally, but her eyes said otherwise. They roamed, not leering, but drinking me in, as if she'd been waiting for this fracture in the facade. The team's meeting ran long. "I came to check on you. You missed the last drill." Missed it because I'd twisted my ankle on the cobblestone streets of La Rambla, chasing the ghost of normalcy after a nightmare practice where her corrections had felt like caresses disguised as critiques. "I'm fine," I lied, wrapping the towel tighter, wishing I could summon the bravado that made me a killer on the court. But here, vulnerable and half-naked, I felt exposed in ways that had nothing to do with my skin. Freya's presence filled the room, her scent of citrus and sweat, the faint scar on her jaw from a college scrimmage gone wrong, the way her tracksuit hugged her athletic frame like it was painted on. She'd always been untouchable, a line I never crossed, but now that line was ash. She leaned against the desk, arms crossed, but her posture screamed anything but casual. "You're not fine, Joss. You've been off for weeks. Distracted. Sloppy serves, missed blocks. Talk to me." It wasn't a request, it was Freya's way, direct, unyielding, the same intensity that had recruited me from across the ocean with a single email, "Come to Spain. I'll make you unbreakable." And she had, in so many ways. But unbreakable meant hiding the way my pulse raced when she tied her hair back before drills, or how I'd linger in the locker room, stealing glances at the curve of her neck as she reviewed tapes. I turned away, fumbling for a shirt in my drawer, the cotton whispering against my damp skin. "It's nothing. Jet lag's a bitch, that's all." A lie so thin it snapped under her gaze. The truth was heavier. The isolation of being the only American on the team, the cultural whiplash of tapas bars and midnight siestas clashing with my internalized homesickness, and beneath it all, the forbidden pull toward her. I'd dated guys back home, safe, forgettable flings to prove to my conservative folks I was normal. But here, under the relentless Spanish sky, those pretenses crumbled. Freya wasn't just my coach, she was the first woman who'd made me question if normal was worth the numbness. She sighed, a sound laced with frustration and something tender. "Jocelyn, look at me." When I did, her hazel eyes held mine, stormy with unspoken storms. "You're better than this. We both know it." "We." The word hung there, intimate, pulling me closer despite the towel barrier. In that charged silence, the dam broke. "It's you," I whispered, the confession slipping out like a fumbled spike. "You're in my head, Freya. Every practice, every night. I can't shake it." Her breath hitched, and for the first time, the unbreakable coach faltered. She crossed the room in 2 strides, stopping inches away, her hand hovering near my arm as if afraid to touch. Dios mío, Joss, she murmured, her accent thickening with emotion, a Barcelona lilt that always made my stomach flip. You think you're alone in that? The admission cracked open the floodgates. Her fingers brushed my shoulder, light as a feather, electric as lightning, and the world tilted. Our lips met in a rush of desperation, soft and searching, tasting of salt and unspoken years. It wasn't lust, it was recognition, 2 souls colliding in a dorm room that suddenly felt like the center of the universe. We pulled apart gasping, foreheads pressed together, the reality crashing in like Mediterranean waves. This can't happen, she said, voice raw. I'm your coach. The Federation. The team. It'll destroy us both. But her hand stayed on me, betraying her words, and in that moment, I didn't care about rules or ruins. For the first time, I felt seen, truly, achingly seen. The weeks that followed blurred into a secret symphony of stolen moments. Practices became foreplay, her whistle lingering on my name, my dives on the court a silent vow. After hours, we'd meet in shadowed alleys off Passeig de Gracia, hands intertwined under café tables, whispering dreams over cortados. Freya opened up in fragments, her childhood in a working-class barrio, the pressure of being the family's golden girl, the ex-girlfriend who'd left her shattered when the national team outed her career. I built walls for a reason, Joss, she'd say, tracing patterns on my palm. But you make me want to tear them down. I shared my own scars, the Seattle rain masking tears after my first crush on a cheerleader went unrequited, the fear of disappointing my dad, a stoic ex-Marine who equated strength with silence. In Freya, I found not just passion, but home, a fierce, olive-skinned anchor in the expatriate drift. We were careful, achingly so, coded texts about strategy sessions, alibis woven from team travels to Madrid and Valencia. Barcelona became our lover too, the Gothic quarter's labyrinthine streets hiding kisses, the beach at Barceloneta where we'd walk barefoot at dawn, waves lapping at promises. But secrets have teeth. The first bite came subtly, whispers in the locker room, teammates like Sofia and Maria exchanging glances when Freya's hand brushed mine during warm-ups. Coach has a favorite, Sofia teased once, her Catalan inflection sharp. I laughed it off, but the seed of doubt took root. Freya noticed too, pulling me aside after a grueling scrimmage. We need to cool it, amor. Just until the season ends. Her endearment, borrowed from her native tongue, was a balm and a blade. Cooling it meant agony. I'd lie awake in my dorm, the walls closing in with echoes of her laughter from our last hidden rendezvous in Park Güell, where we'd lain under gaudiest mosaic dragons, her head on my chest as she confessed, I've never felt this alive. The distance bred paranoia, every delayed text a potential end, every team dinner a minefield of feigned indifference. Then came the betrayal, swift and venomous. It was 2 months in, during a rain-soaked away game in Bilbao. We'd won, barely, my final spike sealing the victory under Freya's triumphant roar. Back at the hotel, high on adrenaline, I slipped into her room for what was meant to be a quick embrace. But the door was ajar, and inside, illuminated by the harsh fluorescent light, was Freya, locked in an argument with Elena, the team's assistant coach. Elena, 32, sleek and ambitious, with a reputation for climbing ladders on more than merit. You're playing with fire, Freya, Elena hissed, her voice low but carrying through the crack. Jocelyn. Really? The American kid? If the board finds out, you're done. And for what? A fling that'll fizzle when she goes back to her rainy little life. Freya's back was to me, rigid as a board. It's not a fling, she snapped, but there was hesitation, a crack in her armor. And you know that. You've always known. Elena's laugh was bitter, intimate. Known what? That you're still hung up on me. Or that this is just rebound bullshit to make yourself feel less alone. She stepped closer, hand on Freya's arm, the same arm that had held me tenderly nights before. We were good together, once. Before you let the team consume you. Let me help you end this mess. I didn't wait for Freya's reply. The world funneled to a pinpoint of pain, and I fled, silent as a shadow, the hotel corridor stretching endlessly. Rain lashed the windows like accusations. How could I have been so blind? Elena wasn't just a colleague, she was Freya's past, the ex who'd left her shattered, now circling back like a vulture. And Freya, had she ever truly let go? Our moments, our whispers, were they just echoes of old wounds? Back in my room, I curled on the bed, sobs muffled into the pillow, the betrayal carving hollows in my chest. It wasn't just the lie, it was the fragility of what we'd built on borrowed time. By morning, the team bus rumbled back to Barcelona, and I sat 3 rows behind her, staring at the nape of her neck, memorizing the way her hair curled damply there, hating how much I still loved it. The fracture widened upon return. Practices turned glacial, her instructions clipped, my responses mechanical. Teammates sensed the chill, filling it with gossip that slithered like serpents. Jocelyn's burning out, Maria murmured. Or maybe coach is riding her too hard. The double entendre hung, unspoken but felt. I threw myself into drills, spikes landing like punishments, but the joy had evaporated. Nights blurred into solitary walks along the waterfront, the W hotels sail like silhouette mocking my drift. Freya tried to bridge the gap, a note slipped into my gear bag, we need to talk. Please. I crumpled it, but the ache persisted, a constant hum beneath my skin. Finally, it erupted after a disastrous home game against Valencia, where we lost in straight sets, my errors a glaring neon sign. In the emptying gym, fluorescent lights buzzing like angry hornets, she cornered me. Joss, what the hell is going on? Her voice was a whip, but her eyes pleaded. I whirled, fury igniting. You tell me, coach. Bilbao. Elena. Rebound bullshit. Classy. Her face drained of color, the scar on her jaw widening. You heard that. Dios, it wasn't, she reached for me, but I jerked back, the court between us a chasm. Wasn't what? True. Tears stung, hot and unbidden. I saw you with her, Freya. The way she touched you. Like she owned you. She recoiled as if slapped. Elena's poison, Joss. She left me 2 years ago, when the pressure got too much. She's been sniffing around since you arrived, trying to worm her way back. That night. I told her to go to hell. That you're everything she never was. The words landed like lifelines, but doubt clung, sticky as humidity. Then why didn't you fight for us? Why pull away? Because I'm terrified, she exploded, voice echoing off the rafters. Of losing you, of losing the team, of being the villain in your story. I'm 30, Joss, I've got scars deeper than you know. But you. You make me believe in second chances. The vulnerability in her cracked me open. We collided then, not with anger, but with the raw need to mend. Her arms enveloped me, strong and sure, and I buried my face in her shoulder, inhaling citrus and resolve. I don't want to be your rebound, I whispered. I want to be your forever. She pulled back, cupping my face, thumbs brushing tears. You already are, mi vida. If you'll have me. In that gym, under the weight of defeat and desire, we vowed to fight, not just for love, but for truth. No more secrets. We'd face the team, the federation, the world. Barcelona's pulse thrummed outside, a city of reinvention, and for the first time, I believed we could rewrite our ending. But vows are fragile as sea glass, and ours shattered against the rocks of reality. The season intensified, matches blurring into a gauntlet of sweat and strategy, our hidden touches now laced with urgency. Freya and I carved out pockets of normalcy, lazy Sundays at her apartment in Gracia, where she'd cook paella while I pretended to help, our laughter mingling with the sizzle of saffron. She traced the freckles on my shoulders, calling them Estrellas Caídas, fallen stars, and I'd melt into her, the world fading to the rhythm of her heartbeat. Yet Elena lurked, a shadow with teeth. She'd been with the team longer than me, her influence woven into the Federation's old boys club, minus the boys, but no less patriarchal. Whispers turned to barbs, anonymous emails to the athletic director hinting at inappropriate favoritism, photos snapped from afar of Freya and me leaving a cafe, heads bent close. "It's her," Freya confided one night, scrolling through veiled threats on her phone. "She's escalating because she can't stand losing." The fear gnawed at me, but so did resolve. "Then we go public," I urged, curled against her on the worn leather couch, the scent of her jasmine shampoo grounding me. "Before she twists it." Freya hesitated, her fingers stilling in my hair. "It's not that simple, amor. Spain's progressive on paper, but sports. It's a boys' game. Women loving women. They smile and nod, then cut you from the roster." Her voice carried the weight of history, teammates outed in the 90s, careers torpedoed. But in her eyes, I saw the fighter, the one who'd spiked through defenses on national TV. We decided on a quiet coming out, a team dinner at a tapas spot in Elborn, where the air hummed with flamenco guitars and the clink of vermouth glasses. Freya stood at evening's end, her hand finding mine under the table, a deliberate anchor. "Team," she began, voice steady as a serve. "Jocelyn and I, we're together. Have been for months. It's real, and it's us. If that changes anything, say it now." Silence fell, thick as fog off the harbor. Sophia's fork paused mid-air, Maria's eyes widened. Then, unexpectedly, laughter, warm, relieved, from the back. "About damn time, coach," Sophia said, raising her glass. "You two have been eye-fucking across the net since week 1. Cheers erupted, hugs followed, and in that candlelit haze, I tasted victory sweeter than any championship. Elena, though, seethed in the corner, her smile a rictus. She clapped politely, but her eyes promised war. And war came swiftly. 2 days later, during a routine Federation audit, the emails surfaced, not just hints, but fabrications, doctored chats implying coercion, blurry photos twisted to suggest impropriety. The director, a stern man named Ruiz with a mustache like a broom, called Freya in. I waited outside his office in the admin building, the sterile hallway smelling of coffee and bureaucracy, my nails digging crescents into my palms. When she emerged, her face was a mask, pale, resolute. "Suspension," she said flatly, guiding me to the courtyard where jacaranda blossoms carpeted the stone like purple snow. "Pending investigation." Elena's word against ours. Rage boiled in me, hot and helpless. "That's bullshit. She's lying to save face." Freya nodded, but defeat shadowed her. "Ruiz believes her. Says it's to protect the program's integrity. I start tomorrow, off the court, off the team." She sank onto a bench, head in hands, the unbreakable coach fracturing before me. "I should have known. Should have protected you better." I knelt before her, taking her hands, calloused from years of coaching, warm despite the chill. "This isn't on you. It's on her jealousy, on their fear. We'll fight it." But even as I said it, doubt crept in. Without Freya, the team faltered, practices became rote, my spikes wild with grief. Teammates rallied, petitions circulated, Sophia cornered Ruiz in the hall, but the machinery ground slow. The high tide of our crisis crashed during the regional semi-finals in Tarragona, a coastal town where the air tasted of salt and pine. Freya watched from the stands, incognito in a hoodie and sunglasses, her presence a ghost I felt more than saw. We clawed to victory, but in the locker room aftermath, Elena struck her final blow. She'd cornered Maria, spinning tales of Freya's predatory history, planting seeds that bloomed into fracture. "Is it true?" Maria asked me later, voice small over post-game sangria. "Did she pressure you?" The accusation landed like a gut punch. "No," I said fiercely. "She's the best thing that's happened to me." But the doubt lingered, a poison Elena had brewed perfectly. That night, in a rented beachside villa the team shared, Freya and I stole away to the shore. Moonlight silvered the waves, and we walked barefoot, the sand cool and yielding. I can't lose you to this, she said, stopping to face me, wind whipping her hair. If it comes to choosing. Don't, I interrupted, pulling her close. Our kiss was salt-stung, desperate, a reclamation amid ruins. We choose us. Always. But dawn brought the ultimatum. Ruiz's email pinged at 5 a.m., Freya's suspension extended indefinitely unless she resigned. Elena, promoted to interim coach, smirked at breakfast, her victory lap subtle but savage. The team splintered, half loyal, half swayed by the optics. Sophia pulled me aside, fight, Joss. But if she goes down, don't drown with her. Freya's decision came that afternoon, in the villa's sunroom overlooking the sea. She packed her whistle, her playbook, her heart laid bare. I resign, she said, voice steady but eyes glistening. For the team. For you. No. The word tore from me, raw. This is her win. Our loss. She cupped my cheek, thumb tracing my jaw. It's not loss if we walk away whole. I'll coach elsewhere, maybe back in the States, with you when you graduate. This city's too small for cowards like her. The nobility of it broke me. We held each other as the sun dipped, painting the horizon in fire, our tears mingling with the sea's eternal roar. Betrayal had carved us open, but in the wound, we found deeper truths, love not as possession, but as choice, renewed daily against the tide. As the investigation dragged, Elena's reign soured the team, drills joyless, morale a casualty. I confronted her in the gym one evening, the echo of my words sharp. You think this makes you strong? Destroying what you couldn't have. Her laugh was hollow. Strength is surviving, Jocelyn. Freya was weak, always chasing ghosts. Now run along. You're benched for the finals. The bench. The ultimate humiliation. But in that isolation, solidarity bloomed. Teammates defected quietly, Sophia spiking deliberately wide in protest, Maria slipping me plays under Elena's nose. The finals in Madrid arrived like a storm, the Palau Blaugrana arena thrumming with 5,000 voices, banners waving like battle flags. Freya was there, in the family section, her silver-streaked hair a beacon. I played like a woman possessed, diving, blocking, spiking with the fury of all we'd lost. But midway through the third set, tied at 22-22, Elena subbed me out. You're emotional, she sneered from the sidelines. Sit. The crowd murmured, the team faltered. Sophia caught my eye, nodding toward the bench. In a heartbeat, I stood, mic in hand from the water cooler, a prop turned weapon. This isn't coaching, I announced, voice booming over the speakers. This is revenge. Freya Navarro didn't groom anyone, she loved, openly, and got punished for it. Elena. She's the one hiding, terrified of real connection. Gasps rippled, cameras flashed. Elena lunged, but security intervened as the arena erupted, cheers from allies, boos from skeptics. Ruiz stormed the court, but it was too late. The Federation's facade crumbled under the spotlight, live-streamed to thousands. Sophia pulled me back in, we surged to victory, 25-23, the net a symbol of barriers breached. In the aftermath, Elena resigned in disgrace, her lies exposed by recovered emails. Freya was reinstated, not just as coach, but as a reluctant hero, interviews with El Pace, panels on LGBTQ+ rights in sports. We didn't marry in a blaze of glory, instead, our happy ever after was quieter, human, a small ceremony in a Barcelona garden 2 years later, after my graduation and her move to Seattle for a college gig. Vows exchanged under olive trees, with Sophia as witness, sealing not perfection, but perseverance. Barcelona taught us that love, like the city, is layered, gaudy as whimsy over Roman stone, passion amid politics. Freya and I, scarred but standing, proved that betrayal forges, doesn't break, if you choose to rebuild. And in each other's arms, under endless skies, we did.